Bruce, home ice advantage has really not been an advantage in this series with the visiting teams winning. Help me understand that if you can, why that is. Is it perhaps the home team's a little too amped up? And with that in mind, how do you handle Game 7?
No, I think both teams, to be honest here, are good road teams. That has something to do with it. Game 7, I do believe if you're going to have home ice advantage, that is the game you want. And after that, like I said, it's two good hockey teams. I think they both play good team defense and a certain style that lends itself to being successful on the road. That'd be my only, I guess, opinion on that. We're glad to have home ice this game. St. Louis has bounced back all the time, so I'm sure they'll be comfortable. They're 9-3 on the road, so they probably don't see it as a disadvantage at all.
And if I can just follow quick, Jeff, just nerves, how do you handle it? Is there any specific way, or you just play through it?
Well, I think you're going to have some. As I said, I think our older guys will address the group and how they can best handle that. Once the puck drops, we feel we're prepared to play. I think that's the easiest way to get through your nerves. If you know you're prepared and you haven't crammed, so to speak, we've gone through checklists of what we want to hit. Tomorrow it'll be sticking with our routine, so hopefully that calms your nerves, just knowing that you've prepared this way 100 and whatever it is, 7 times or 6 times, and that's enough to get you through it early on, and you got to play hockey.
Front right, Stephen.
Bruce, you mentioned in this series, whichever team's the one that kind of gets to a team and plays its style of game, most likely to win it. What is the key to you guys getting to your game and keeping the Blues from getting to their game?
Well, I think puck possession for both sides usually determine, because we're both. I mean, listen, they've said it. They forecheck turnovers. Create some situations down low where they hang on to the puck, force you to defend. I think when we have the puck, it's either attack or forecheck. I think we're kind of a mix, but at the end of the day, it's starts with face-offs, who controls the play with the puck, who manages it better. To me, that's typically it. If you manage the puck well, you can get to your game, assuming you have structure. And both teams I find are well structured. So, get the puck. How do you do that? Win face-offs or create turnovers and then manage it. And I think that's the key for both teams, to be honest with you.
Front left, Dan.
Bruce, when you were a kid, where did you play Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final in your imagination, and did you ever do it with buddies just to pretend it's Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final?
Coldry Avenue in the west end of Ottawa is where I played it growing up with my brother and lots of buddies. I said it before, I was, like a lot of kids, Bobby Orr. If I didn't score in Game 7, we lost, we played it again. That's the way it went, right? I never imagined myself as a kid coaching it. I'm not going to lie to you. It was as a player, but here I am. It's the next best thing. So that's where it was for me. In the middle of winter, in the middle of summer, it didn't matter on the street. Our street would freeze over. Not frozen all winter. Don't get me wrong. But when it snowed and sleet, it would stay frozen for a bit. So either with a sponge puck or a tennis ball was one or the other. Coldry Avenue, Coldrey. I remember it well. I was there for a long time.
Right side, fourth row.
Hey, Coach, if you can think back when Tuukka came back from the break he took earlier in the season, did you notice right away then, or was it later that he was where he needed to be?
No, I think it took a while to, I can't speak for, personally how he felt the day he came back. I just know that his game, he started working on it to get it back where it needed to be, and I thought it was probably hit his stride. Now you're testing my memory here, but I thought it was in January, February, really got hot. One of those streaks of, what was it, 19 games?
Game in Buffalo, or maybe right before the Winter Classic?
Yeah, which is late December.
Yeah.
Then he got run over against the Rangers. That was late January, so he missed well, we went on break, so we were fortunate there with that injury. He didn't miss a lot of time, although Yarrow was playing well, but for his sake, he didn't miss a lot of time. So I wouldn't say right away, but he certainly worked his way back towards it and found it and was real consistent after that. And has been real consistent for this stretch. I mean, we've said that. He hasn't had a bad outing.
Would you say, win or lose tomorrow, would you say he's shut the critics up?
Well, that's up for them to decide. For you who have followed me, I've been honest with his play for 3 years I've been here, but I'm not a critic. I always believed he's one of the elite goalies in the league. I think when you win championships, it cements that that's part of your legacy. So clearly winning a championship at any, those key positions, quarterback, starting pitcher, goaltender is a lot of times what defines you down the road. So, he'll be ready to do it. Let's hope we're good in front of him. I have no worries about him tomorrow. It's more about our team being ready to go and executing the way we need to.
We'll do two more for Coach. Right side, fifth row.
Bruce, you said in St. Louis about the mentality, the approach going into Game 6, do your job, trust your teammates. Is it the same or more of the same for a Game 7 now?
Yeah, I think it's the same. It's the same, sort of situation. If you don't get it done, you're done. There's a little more on the line, obviously, if you win now, because it is the last game no matter what. But still, we're going to look at it. That's our approach. I think we're a team. We need our better players to step up, to play to their level, just like we need our role players to play to their level. But you always need, team. The other night, Brandon Carlos scores. He's not the guy we would have picked in our pool, right? He would have been well down the list probably, but that's what you need. You need secondary scoring. So that's it. Do your job. He's always defended well. He's killing penalties well. He happened to get a shot on net that found its way in. Kuhlman came in and, nice shot. So you're going to need, different people to step up, but at the end of the day, do your job. I think Cooley would have been fine if he didn't score. He was winning pucks. He was good on the forecheck, got pucks out on the wall. So every guy has to do what he does best, and hopefully it falls into line and you execute well and make that play that makes the difference. I really believe that when you get two close teams, someone's going to make a play that makes the difference. We want it to be us.
Last question, left side.
I just on that point, why do you believe this group has done so well in the big moments, whether it's a guy like Bergeron that's been here before, or as you said, Kuhlman, who comes in after not playing in over a month and scores, and kind of everywhere in between in your lineup?
Well, I think some of it is, the big players tend to step up in those because they're the better players, but when it's the other guys, it's because the rest of your guys have done their job, so the game hasn't gotten away from you. I mean, it's a close game, and Brandon steps up and Kuhlman, but if we weren't doing our job otherwise, you might have been behind when those goals happen. They don't matter. So I think that's been our kind of deal all year. We've played through, and when it comes to Kuhlman, we've played through a lot of different injuries in our line, a lot of different guys we've relied on to get the job done from November on. You can look at our roster for those that haven't followed us. We've pretty much every D-man's been hurt, some of them all at once. Bergeron's been out, Pasternak. You can go down the list. And I think that's why the next man up kind of thing has worked out well for us. Guys come in, know they don't have to be a hero. That's the other thing. We're a solid team no matter who's been in there, so they don't have to do too much. They're not asked to do too much. And, we have good depth. We have guys that are, not going to shy away from the situation. The minutes they're given, and they've come through for us. It's why we're here. I mean, let's face it, there's been other good teams. Last year we had a tough go against Tampa. We didn't get that stuff. It doesn't mean, we weren't a good team or there was a lack of effort. It just, sometimes that's what you need. You need the right things to fall into place, and obviously us in St. Louis have had that.